Mark, can we start by throwing some names at you? Joe Garner, where are you with that one?
We're making progress on some targets that have gone on now for a number of weeks, and hopefully we're very near conclusion on one or two of those.
Was one of them Joe?
Just a number of targets. We look at it. Wouldn't be right to speak about individuals, but we're close. We're close on one or two, and I hope we can get it to completion next 24, 48 hours max.
Preston saying that it looks likely he'll go as well. So, what would he add to your team?
A player like that adds experience, adds an edge in terms of how he plays the game, his enjoyment of the game, variety of goals, comfortable inside and outside the box, movement, and a threat. He's a constant threat. So that type of player would provide something that would help us and add to our attacking prowess, I hope.
Julian Lescott?
One of many names we're linked to.
Did you meet him this week?
One of many names that we're linked to.
Seemed to be a photo. Was that you in that?
I'm not sure. It was a face for radio, that one, wasn't it? So I'm not sure about that. But no, we have to look to improve the quality of the squad. You know, we have to do that. And the players here, the players with the ability or the belief in their own ability and the confidence want us to sign ever improving players. That's what we have to do. We have to take the club forward. The moment we stop moving forward, we're dead in the water. So we have to keep moving forward and aspire to sign ever better players. And some of the names mentioned, I think, are high quality individuals.
You've got Philip Senderos here as well. Are Rangers in a position to sign potentially both a Lescott and a Senderos?
No, Philippe's come in. I can't speak high enough, by the way, of Philippe Senderos. Came in, hadn't been training with the team for a few weeks, so that his level of fitness is outstanding. His CV is well documented, but his level of fitness, the way he's fitted into the group, has been first class. So I can't speak. He's dealt with training all week effortlessly. So we have to look at a number of options, and been very, very impressed by Philippe.
Is he just training with the club, or have you taken it a step further?
No, he's training with us. Conscious, obviously, won't be involved at the weekend. He's gone back to Geneva for a couple of days, but we're very pleased with what we've seen. But again, we have to make sure that we look at all our options and treat people the right way as well. Players want to know, have an honest feedback. We'll always do that to the players, and I think that leaves us in good stead if we do it that way.
If the opportunity came up, would you sign both Philippe Senderos
I think what we need is we need 4 centre halves and we need 4 strikers. That's what we need. We have Rob, we have Danny, we have Clint at the back, so we have 3 centre halves now. We're very happy with, and we have Kenny, we have Waggy, and we have Joe Dodu up front. So again, we're looking for one of those in each department, and the rest of the areas we covered. So maybe 1 or 2 players more in terms of strength and depth than we had last season, but still a tight squad. You saw recently when Danny was suspended, we only had Rob and Clint. We had no centre half options at all. Lee Hodgson provides the full-back option for us, and he's pushing hard, as is Matt Gilks, and we have options in midfield which are well known.
How optimistic are you of signing a player of the calibre of a Julian Lescott?
I'm optimistic because we have to keep raising the profile of Rangers. I think pro players know about the club, know about the history of the club, stature of the club, and hopefully we can keep pushing forward. And if we can do that and sign players of the right calibre, then it's almost self-fulfilling. But we have to keep pushing forward.
If the Joe Garner deal comes off, it'd be a sizable outlay. You always talk about getting value for players. So what value would a player like that represent?
As I say, the market is moving. The market is constantly moving. We say it week in, week out, but we have to seek value. We have to go to our board and explain why we think a player represents value on and off the field. And that's the case we have to put forward. So if we can do that the right way, the support from Stuart, Andrew and the board has been first class. Right the way through from when we've come in here, if we get 2 more players, it'll be 10 in, 8 out and 10 in. So significant transfer activity at a time when it is difficult to get deals done. So all credit to the board for backing us, and to people like Frank McParn and his team for the work they're doing.
How difficult is it, Mark, if a Premiership club comes in to compete with a player that you're looking at?
We can't compete with a Premier League club. Absolutely not. We can't compete. The financial disparity is evident for all to see. But what we can do is look at what we can offer a player. We can offer a player an opportunity here that maybe is not an offer at that club, and maybe those clubs can sign more players and have bigger squads, for obvious reasons. So it's we have to sell the opportunity. And if a player doesn't buy into that, no problem. That's so's life. We shake hands and move on. But you want players who want to be here, recognise the opportunity, and see a role for themselves to with Rangers going forward. If we can get that right, then we're in a good place.
And there's all sorts of speculation linking, a Julian Lescott with a Premiership club. Would that for you kill off that deal
if that was the case? If that was a player in mind and that was the case, so as I say, we can't compete if it comes down to straight cash. But I think players of experience and players of quality, it's not always about a straight cash deal. It's very much about the quality of opportunity. So if we can get that right, then we have a chance to even the playing field up a little bit.
How do you approach the Motherwell game Saturday? What are you expecting? A different approach from them than you faced in July?
I think July was early for both teams, wasn't it? It was the first competitive game. Came way too early, I think, for both Mark and ourselves. But I thought we created a lot of chances that game as well. So we've worked hard this week again. We get in there, we're gelling, we're starting to gel as a team. As I say, a number of new players coming in. So we'll respect the challenge, no doubt about that. They have good organisation, they have really good work ethic, they have good individuals. So it's a quality outfit. But we're in good shape ourselves, and we're looking forward to another packed Ibrox, good playing surface, and we have to deliver a performance, as we say every week.
They had that heavy defeat at Celtic last week. Mark McGee saying this morning that he thinks it would be easier for them to get results at Ibrox than Celtic.
And it's a game of opinions. It is a game of opinions. You know, one person thinks about a player or a game or a team, whatever, and that's the beauty of the game we love. That's why we love it so much. But that's Mark's opinion. Mine may differ slightly, but we'll see after Saturday.
Mark, how's any news on Jason Holt? I know
he had an ankle injury. He had a scan, which was really good news for us. There's no surgical procedures required. I think it's just a case of some light bone bruising. So we're hopeful that Jason is sort of 6 to 8 days away for a full return. So he's a very talented player. You know, we've missed him. We know about his attributes and the quality he brings to the side, but it's about long-term welfare. So it was an ankle injury we hoped would be 2 weeks to clear up, but it's slightly longer than that.
And obviously you're pleased to see Martin Waghorn jogging on Monday. How close is he now to?
He's worked so hard, Waggy. He's worked so hard, and the medical team have as well. So he's getting there. You know, he'll join us next week, I hope. Up the intensity again, but he's not far away at all.
That would mean maybe the Celtic game then would be the first one who would be available for.
I think he'll be available for Celtic, absolutely. Whether he's available for Kilmarnock, I'm not sure, but certainly the Celtic game, and I hope to have a game before that, a friendly game before that as well. So we'll make sure the players are in good shape.
Mark, did you read Joey Barton's comments about the Celtic manager, saying that he's having a midlife crisis?
Yeah, I'm sure you know, as I do, it was a tongue-in-cheek, banter-type comment. There was no malice, there was no disrespect from Joey. I'm sure you guys like those type of comments, so there's no malice behind it. I think the comments after that were very serious. The comments about recognising the size of the game, the scale of the game, how much he wants to be involved in that type of game, that was a serious part of that conversation, but Joey just was a...
When those comments go down in print and can perhaps be taken out of context, is there perhaps a need to say to Joey?
No, there's not. I think if you're taking it out of context, you need to help yourself. I think it's just a very light-hearted moment. If you can't see that, there's a problem. And as I say, there's no disrespect there.